Welcome in, guys. It is Brad with College SportsCast. We are here to do our Season 3 finale. Season 3. Over 300, maybe 350 podcast here with you guys, ending Season 3. This is week 44. And the debut of our Season 4 new intro. Here you go, guys. Courtesy of J.C. Kirk and Stadium Rant.
Yay!
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, the band.
Pretty cool, right?
I think the band needs. I don't think that's Kentucky's band, but
that's pretty cool. I like it. I like the new intro. Big shout out to J.C. Kirk, Cameron from Stadium Rant as well, helping us put together some stuff. We got a new logo in the top right-hand corner of the screen. You can see our new logo as well for Season 4. That will be, pretty awesome going forward for our Season 4 coming up. So we're closing out Season 3. I thought I'd give you guys a sneak peek at some new stuff that's going on. John, we have kind of slowed down, but we're here to kind of do a finale here for Season 3. We have slowed down a little bit since the NFL draft. We did quite a bit up through the NFL draft. And then,
slowed down. We've had maybe one show since
we had May. One the beginning of May.
Yeah,
and then I think we've done two. I think we've done 2 in June. I think something like that.
Yeah, I mean we've not really had a lot. So
no. All right. So over the weekend on Sunday, John, I don't know if you paid any attention to it at all, but the College World Series ended up this weekend on Sunday. It was won by LSU 5-3 over Coastal Carolina in the College World Series, the series national championship series. They won 2-0. It's a best 2 out of 3. And they won 1-0 on Saturday and then 5-3 over Coastal Carolina on Sunday. There was a little bit of controversy in the game. In the very first inning, arguing balls and strikes, the umpires, the home plate umpire, threw out the head coach, ejected him from the game in the first inning of this for Coastal Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a big argument. The first base coach got in on it, and they threw out the first base coach as well in the first inning. It kind of felt way too quick, way too triggered, to be honest with you, watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can kind of understand why Coastal Carolina would be upset. I mean, everything was on the line. It was a game they had to win to extend the series to Monday. They had their best pitcher, who was 12-0, on the mound. And in the first inning, they throw out the head coach and the first base coach. It felt a little quick, a little triggered, to be honest with you. But anyways, LSU.
That's sort of like, I read an article, I think it was yesterday, the Coastal Carolina AD made some comments and he was talking about the whole situation and how there needs to be consistency within umpiring, communication and whatnot, leadership, because I mean, there was some calls in that game, early. I felt like that there was not great umpiring. Let's just call it what it is. There was some shots on the outside and on the inside of the plate that could have been, caught a ball.
When you were watching it, though, John, it didn't feel like the coach. I mean, yes, he hollered a little bit, but I mean, it didn't feel excessive or nothing.
Well, and what was so great about it was the Channeliers. They entered the championship on a 26-game win streak.
They did.
They lost it after losing to LSU 1-0 in game one, but they made their second World Series ever, College World Series. They won it in 2016. I think that's when the head coach was actually the assistant then.
He was, yeah.
I think it was controversial for not just them, but just for many fans and people alike, including the broadcast crew.
They were shocked. The broadcast crew, Carl Ravitch and them, they were shocked when it happened.
I just felt like there should have been more consistency with the umpiring, and it's not just
this is the national championship game. So they lose, it's over.
Well, and I say this:
you've got to have a little bit of understanding. You can't throw the coach out in the first inning. I mean, come on now. Unless he just goes 8 nuts, but he was in the dugout just hollering.
Well, and I think it's not just so much college ball either. I mean, it trickles down to MLB as well, and all the umpiring, officiating. It's just bad as a whole overall. But to get back to what you were saying about LSU, that's the SEC Southeastern Conference's 6th straight national title in baseball, and 11th in 16 years. I think it was LSU's 8th. They're second most all time behind Southern California, which has 12. And I'm going to tell you something, man. Jay Johnson is a really, 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 really good coach.
Yeah, can we?
He's won 2 titles in his first 4 years.
Mingione, but dirt.
Yeah, he's won 2 titles in his first 4 years. No other coach has done that in fewer than 8 seasons. So he's really, he's done a really good job at LSU.
LSU has 8 players that just won a title in 2023 on that team.
Well, and 2 LSU come in winning 13 in a row. Which they had 2 of their top pitchers. I think it was Cade Anderson and Jansen. Those were their 2 top guys.
Anderson threw a gem, a no-hitter. Not a no-hitter, but a shutout.
Anderson's really, really good. I think he was the most outstanding.
He might be the first pick in the draft, by the way, which is this week as well, coming up.
Yeah. He was the most outstanding player. He was the MOP of the College World Series. He only, I think, allowed 1 run on 6 hits. He struck out 17 in 16 innings over 2 starts out in Omaha. So he's pretty good.
Yeah, he may not be Paul Skeens good, but he's pretty good. I'm telling you, he's pretty good.
Now, I want to say this real quick while we're on this whole topic about the MLB draft. So I don't know if you caught it tonight, but Chase Burns made some history for the Reds. He struck out his first 6 batters.
Chase is going to be a good one too from Wake Forest.
Guess who he struck out on 3 pitches and won it back? Aaron Judge. if that tells you anything, the kid's got talent.
Chase was great at Wake Forest.
He throws 100 miles an hour.
Couple of years.
He has a devastating slider. His slider is absolutely nasty.
Yeah.
He made a pitch earlier tonight in the game that, I don't know if me and you could have stood in there and took that. It was pretty lethal.
You got to give a huge shout out here to LSU. I mean, I'm not saying LSU wouldn't have won this game anyway. I don't know. I just feel like what happened with the coach with Coastal just put a damper on it a little bit.
Yeah, it did a little bit, yeah.
You know, and I don't really think it should have happened in the national championship game in the first inning from the dugout, to be honest with you. But you got to give a huge shout out to LSU here. They made the plays. On top of this, if you guys did not see the ending of them defeating Arkansas, it was unbelievable. I mean, Arkansas had every chance in the world to win against LSU, take it to an extra day.
I feel for the kid that dropped the ball. Like,
oh my God! If you guys didn't see it, man, I'm telling you, it was unbelievable what happened to Arkansas.
And if people don't know, the same thing. Well, it really didn't. It ain't the same kind of thing, but
close.
Oregon State, they dropped the ball, and Oregon State come back and won it.
Yeah.
And it's but to be fair on that play, that ball was tailing from that kid.
There was 3 plays. So there was a possible double play ball that the shortstop, who was the Golden Spikes winner, by the way, made the play and got the lead runner at third instead of trying to turn 2. Okay.
It shouldn't even have led to that drop ball in the outfield. It should have been a double play and the inning was over.
But if he would have went for the double play and got it, the game is over. They would have extended to the next day, and Arkansas and LSU would have had to play an extra game.
Yeah. And from there, you don't know what happens.
And then from there, Anderson probably pitches the next day instead of against Coastal, and it made a huge difference in the College World Series. Your heart goes out. Listen, I'm not a Hog fan. I'm not at all. I think most people,
I heard you was.
I think most people will know that I'm not, okay?
I heard you.
But watching this game, my heart went out to these kids, man.
I heard you was a Coach Cal fan. That's what I heard.
Your mom probably laughed over that one, if she can hear. But I'm telling you, watching that game, because I watched a lot of the college when it got down to 8 teams in Omaha. I watched a lot of it, and watching that game, man, my heart goes out to those kids.
Hey, Brad, woo pig suey, baby. Woo pig suey.
I won't say that, but I'm telling you, my heart goes out to that. The kid in the left field that misplayed that ball was a freshman. Kid's a freshman, had done a lot of good stuff for the Arkansas Razorbacks this year. He's got a lot of playing time left to go in college, and I hope he can rebound from that, because that's a tough deal to have to swallow, to be honest with you. But congratulations to LSU. Congratulations to the SEC. Texas, by the way, a few weeks before that, also won the Women's College World Series. So that was 2 for 2 for the SEC in baseball and in softball to win national championships. One more thing real quick. In baseball and softball, Arkansas had the Golden Spikes Award winners for both softball and baseball. In baseball, it was the shortstop that I was talking about that made that play. He was from Hawaii. Aloy, I think, I'm not sure. Aloy was his last name. And Arkansas also had the Golden Spikes Award winner in softball. And it's the first time ever that the Golden Spikes Award winners have been from the same school. So a big shout out again to Arkansas here. And for the men, again, I hope they can overcome that because, man, this has happened to them multiple times. Yeah. And man, it's tough. It was tough to watch the other night. I mean, the kids there was several of them. I mean, just bawling their eyes out at the end of that game. It was really tough to watch. All right, we're going to move on from the baseball talk. We're going to get into some football stuff. I've got several topics here, John, with some football stuff. We're going to start out with the Pac-12 news. The Pac-12 inks a primary media deal with CBS. This was announced yesterday, and CBS is now going to be the new Pac-12's primary media deal, John, for football and basketball. That's the mainstays for a lot of these sports. However, the Pac-12 has always been pretty good in baseball with Oregon State, so hopefully baseball can get in with some of this deal a little bit as well, but they did announce for football and basketball. John,
I think it's good for
the championship games for football and basketball conference will be on CBS. Each sport will get at least 3, if not more, but at least 3 games on national TV on CBS. Plus, a lot of games will be on the CBS Sports Network for both sports. What do you think about the CBS deal? I think it's a pretty good deal for them.
I think it's a great thing. I mean, gives them a broader eye, because you're bringing in teams like Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, Gonzaga, San Diego State, Utah State. Plus, you'll have Oregon State and Washington State, which that'll be the new Pac-12.
Well, there's 8 teams right now. 7 football. Gonzaga does not have football program. They've been part of the West Coast, and they do not have football program. So there's at least 1 team to go. We'll get to that in the next topic.
Well, I think you're adding by adding some of these teams, from the Mountain West and the West Coast, the Pac-12 has really put themselves in a top 5 league in football and men's basketball.
When you look at it, John, I think you're right. I mean, honestly, this past year, I think what would be the new Pac-12 would have been like the 4th best conference in basketball and the 5th best conference in football.
And I think it's going to help basketball, football too. Now, there's a few schools on that list that are not great in football, but it's going to give them a chance to get some recognition on TV by having this deal. Teams like
and this is just the primary deal. They are still in talks with more than one partner. They are saying that they could have up to 3 additional secondary media deals that are very close. They may even be done. They're just doing this in a certain order to announce it. But there is likely 3 more secondary media deals yet to be announced. The CW could be a major player in this because they have had the Pac-12 last year and this year with Oregon State and Washington State games. So the CW might be part of this. ESPN has come back into play for this season for a couple of games with Oregon State and Washington State. And there's some rumors that Apple TV and Fox could be involved here as well. Now, part of the CBS package also includes Paramount Plus. So they do get a streaming package with that CBS package with Paramount Plus as well. So all of that is fantastic for the new Pac-12. I don't know about you, John, but for me, I'm stoked to see that the Pac-12 is not going to completely die, because
No, it's going.
I thought 18 months ago it was going to completely die.
Yeah, I thought there for 2 or 3 months, like it was just going to fall apart because nothing was going out. It just seemed like that every team was exiting out stage left, and then all of a sudden, you got teams like Oregon State and Washington State
that really put forth an effort to keep
tried
this
to
together.
put forth an effort to keep it together, and look where it is now. Like we're in a good spot with it. So
the oldest conference in college sports, by the way, they had 108-year history when all these teams left.
And knowing, Bill Walton, he's probably happy right now because Bill Walton was really he was a real advocate. He was a real advocate for the Pac-12.
What's up, Jerry? Good to see you, man.
Especially basketball.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he loved his Pac-12. It's a shame that UCLA and a few of those is not in it anymore. But when it comes down to it, I'm just glad to see him not die. I mean, I'm glad to see the Pac-12 kind of have a resurgence here. And this deal runs through 2031. That is when a lot of the other deals, the Big 12, the SEC, there is the ACC has a cutoff in 2031 now. So could they expand and try to do more in 2031? Possibly. This still runs till then.
It's all about money. Nowadays, and fortunately for the Pac-12, they made some moves, they made some changes, and they got it to still hang around. Unfortunately, like you said, for UCLA and them, it was all about money, making moves, being able to go to a bit bigger conference, better conference. They did what they had to do, but like I said, props to Washington State, Oregon State. They made their bed and they laid in it for a while, and then they kind of picked up the slack and said, "Hey, let's get this together and let's figure it out."
It's still to be seen about UCLA as well, though. I mean, yes, they're making more money, and yes, UCLA was behind in money, but prestige-wise, winning Pac-12 titles, football-wise, USC, I'm not sure that they're going to have the same prestige in the Big Ten.
Well, and especially after some of Mick Cronin's comments the last few times, he's made some comments, and
yeah, that's true
about the whole situation. So,
yeah,
in interviews.
All right, so from that, I've got a few things here to talk about with the Pac-12. So, it is likely, very likely, that Texas State is going to be the 8th football member for the Pac-12, and this could come soon. And by soon, I mean before July 1st. The reason why I say before July 1st is because of this. They're in, I think, the Sun Belt currently, and they have a $5 million buyout that goes up to $10 million July 1st. So if this is going to happen, look for this to happen before July 1st. It's June 24th, so we got about a week. Look for this to happen within the next week. If this is the school that's going to take the 8th spot in the Pac-12, look for Texas State to officially be announced within the next week. That's what I'm telling you. Texas State has been in the Sun Belt, John. They have, they've been pretty decent in football the last 3 or 4 years. And the Pac-12 is trying to open up Texas, basically. They play Texas State plays in between Houston and Austin. Houston and San Antonio. Sorry, Houston and San Antonio, and they are in between there, and they're trying to open up Texas to the Pac-12 here. I think for what they have available to them right now, I think this is a pretty decent move. What do you think, John? I mean, they could go after Memphis. They could go after like Tulane, but those schools are going to cost them like $20 million.
Yeah, they're probably better off getting Texas
State. They can get for $5 million.
Yeah, they could probably have a cheaper deal there.
And I think what they're trying to do, they've announced this immediate deal with CBS. The media deal already includes an 8th member. I'm being told that the 8th member already knows about this deal and is included in this deal. It's just not been put out there yet. So look for Texas State to be announced and be a part of this. Again, It's a 5-year deal. It is set up to run through when the Big 12 and a few others contracts in. I'm betting here, John, that the hope is they can leave some room for growth and maybe get to 10 or 12 teams in 2031 and add a few back maybe that left. That's what I think they're hoping to be able to do.
I agree with you.
All right, so is there any other team that you think the Pac-12 should look at?
Probably not. I mean, they're probably set on where they're at.
Or do you think they should sit tight till 2031?
I think they should sit tight for a little bit. I think they got what they need.
What about St. Mary's? Should they invite St. Mary's for basketball and other sports?
Well, I mean, if you're going to add
Gonzaga,
yeah, I mean, if you're going to add the rivalry thing to it, but now in that West Coast, St. Mary's is going to be the big dog now. Now that Gonzaga's gone, they're going to be the top dog. So maybe they enjoy that little renaissance, but not to.
So
not
you're
to
going to have 8 in football, 9 in basketball. If you added St. Mary's, you would have 10 really good conference like schools for basketball.
Yeah,
that's the one school that I think they should consider is St. Mary's.
And then you would have maybe 2 or 3 basketball schools that are football that are not great. Like teams like San Diego State is not great in football. Wyoming,
but you have several basketball schools. If you added St. Mary's and Gonzaga and San Diego State and
you'd have a pretty decent conference.
Basketball schools for sure,
especially for basketball.
That's the one school that not a lot of people are talking about that I think they should still consider for basketball, and baseball is included in that as well.
Yeah, that would be one, yeah. Because Gonzaga is pretty decent at baseball, or was a couple of years ago.
St. Mary's is too.
They had a pretty good team.
They have a very small stadium, but they're pretty decent.
Yeah.
All right, John, we're going to switch up. We're going to talk about college football playoff expansion. I'm going to go back to something we did last year, fly or no fly.
We talk about this all the time.
Well, it's been
expand.
It's been talked about really, really heavy. Joe Klatt has been talking about this. I've seen Josh Pate talking about it on the next round. I've got some stuff that I want to say about it. Here's what I want to say, John. I don't like it. I don't like it. It seems like nothing that anything that they do is satisfying to anybody. It went from 2 to 4. Everybody hated it. There was a 5th team left out. We should go to 8. these should go to 8. It should be 8. And then all of a sudden it goes to 12. We don't even have one full season of 12, and everybody's like, well, we're going to 14 or maybe 16. Now they're saying, well, we're definitely going to 16. I don't like it. Like, I like the value of the regular season. I'm not a big fan of going to 16 teams. What do you think?
I'm not a huge fan of that's like the 12-team format worked well, okay? I think it's going to work well with the whole straight seating stuff.
It's only been done once. People act like it's been done 10 years or something.
But here's the thing. These leaders that are they're impatient. They're talking about expanding beyond 12 teams before a single college football game was played last year.
Yeah.
Like, they assume the bigger the better, I guess.
So when does it stop? If we go to 16, is next season, are we going to be talking about 24?
Yeah, like, I think the current format is fair, Brad. I think it's going to evolve as a fun thing, sort of like the NFL playoffs, NHL playoffs. I think the Big Ten and SEC is going to work things out to work together. But while we're here, I just hope some of these leaders and people in charge take a look around and realize that last year was a really fun college football playoff.
It was.
And I've always said the grass is not always greener on the other side.
And here's my thing, John.
Sometimes
I'm not excited about a 4 or 5 loss team making the college football playoffs.
Well,
last year, Clemson snuck in the 12th spot at 9-3. Okay,
well, that's sort of like college.
I will be honest with you. I'm not crazy about a 9-3 team being in the 12. To be honest, and I sure as shit am not going to be excited about having a 4 or 5 loss team.
Neither. Well, that's like college basketball. Now they're wanting to expand the college. Like, why ruin a good thing? Like
college football's always been about having, 1, 0, 1, or maybe 2 losses.
Who really benefits from a 16?
You want to know who possibly could benefit? It's schools, to be quite honest with you, like Kentucky.
Yeah. Wisconsin's.
Because if you go to 16, maybe by the grace of God and the hope of Jesus Christ, maybe someday Kentucky and Wisconsin could make a damn college football playoff.
Well, here's the thing. If you look at it from last year, there would be 3 lost teams that would have qualified. Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina would have been in a 16-team playoff.
We got Clyde, Jerry. What's up, guys?
Based off results, like past results, Brad, the extra at-large bids would have helped teams back in 19. Like, you look at teams like Northwestern, Kentucky, Georgia Tech, like teams that won 10 games.
I'm telling you, in 18, Kentucky would have made it. If you go to 16 teams, 100%, they might have made it at 12. At 16, in 18, they would have made it. Or it would have been the playoff in 19, but it would have been for the 18 season.
Yeah, and I don't think that's fair, Brad, to be honest. Like,
But I just think you look as a overall fan of college football, I'm just not excited about having a 9-4 Kansas State team.
No, I'm not a fan of having 3 or 4 lost teams in the.
I'm just not
in the expansion.
Like, what are we doing? We're just devaluing the whole season. Really?
Yeah, I mean,
And to beat it all, the next topic, the SEC and the Big Ten seem to be fighting over format. And I'm going to tell you right now, Josh Pate, I'm calling you out. You went on the next round and talking about the 4-4-2-2-3 stupid thing of guaranteeing spots. I'm calling you out, man. Seriously, this is asinine. Because if you're taking two Big 12 teams automatically, a couple of years ago, they had a 4-loss team playing in the championship game. They lose, you are automatically locking in a 5-loss team into the playoffs. That is absolutely insane to me. Congratulations. You make a participation trophy for the playoffs. I mean,
everybody gets a trophy.
You get a playoff spot, and you get a playoff spot. I mean, seriously.
Like, I don't know what we're doing. Like, even the leaders in college basketball, what are we doing trying to expand a game that you're just adding teams? Like, you're looking at, okay, like, for instance, I'll give you a year before last, maybe. It might have been last, the Boise State Virginia game. You had a game that was so boring and low that half America turned it out. Is that what you want in these playing games?
I just don't get it, man. So the 5 plus 11, if you are going to go to 16 teams, sorry, to me, that's the only way you can do it. I want the 16 best teams. I don't want the 27th best team in the country to be able to lock themselves in because they're in second or fourth in a damn conference.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Yeah,
that's beyond dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, the Big Ten, if that's your best format that you could come up with, you need to go to the house, lock the door, and stay there. And don't turn on a computer. Because that's horrible. All right, John. We're going to move on, but we are going to still talk about the college football playoff implications. So we're going to go to our pick 6. And this time I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite early matchups that could have playoff implications early in the season?
I think you got to look at Texas, Ohio State.
Yeah.
This could probably determine who gets a first-round bye, really.
Right off the bat.
It's going to be tough. So, going to Ohio State, they're going to be the favorites.
This is a championship game rematch.
It's probably one of the most anticipated games of the year. It could be a preview, like I said, the semifinal. They're entering a new era with Arch Manning. Got a good offensive line, good secondary. This could be one of your better games. Alabama, Georgia will be another one. Georgia has some business to finish. At last season's early playoff exit, I think, Brad. Now Alabama's rebuilt their whole defense. They're looked at as a sleeper. I think there's a lot of stakes in this game. I think you're going to see in the defensive game. There's always a good defensive game when Alabama and Georgia play. Georgia's depth may tilt this game a little bit. I'm not so much sold on Alabama yet. I think there's still some juries out for Alabama. Trying to think.
So I'll give you a couple. So you got LSU Clemson early.
Yeah, that's a good one.
LSU Clemson at Clemson. LSU on the road again, going on the road. First game of the season. Brian Kelly has not had much luck. I think he's 0-3 at LSU.
I'll give you one nobody's talking about. Tennessee and Syracuse. Because it's sort of like a bubble game type thing. Because Syracuse is kind of on the bubble this year. There's a lot of talk about them a little bit. While it's not a big rivalry game, it's a very compelling game. I think you get a win here. It sets the tone for the early season, the conference. And one team can be ahead, jump on ahead on the other one. Then I'm going to go with a couple of games that I've just got written down here. Notre Dame, Miami. Brian Kelly, Miami, they're Irish, are coming off of title loss.
Texas A&M and Notre Dame play an early game as well.
And Miami's trying to rebound from that ended on a very horrible note. I'll give you another one. Georgia Tech, Colorado. We're going to see a new look Colorado team.
We are.
There's going to be Colorado lost Travis Hunter, Shadur Sanders. So it's going to be interesting to see where Colorado goes from here without those two. And I think TCU, North Carolina, will be another one. The little Bill Belichick makes his debut in Chapel Hill against TCU.
Bill Belichick. I can't even grasp that.
Bill has been in the headlines for virtually every single reason all offseason. But I think they're looking to make some noise on the field, and I think they got a pretty good team coming in. Now, the field stuff, how will that affect what happens down in Chapel Hill? That's another thing. But other than that, I mean, it's kind of exciting to know that Bill Belichick's going to be in Chapel Hill this season. And it's actually a weird thing, honestly, because you never would have thought that would be the case.
Alabama, Florida State.
Yeah, that's another one. That's a good one.
Early game. That's going to be a big game. Alabama,
I know this sounds crazy, but Kentucky and Texas comes to UK for the first time ever, I think.
Yeah.
And that's going to be interesting because to see where Kentucky stands up to Texas, because they played with them for, 2 halves last season until Texas kind of just wore them down the second half. But I felt like we played with them really well last year. It was a fun game up until we couldn't score. We had a hard time scoring all year last year, so it didn't really matter that game anyways.
Michigan, Oklahoma play a game the second week of the season.
Yeah,
I think that should be a pretty telling game early.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of early season matchups that could tilt the year.
So those are some of the early season matchups that I think is going to be pretty interesting. And then, John, coaches that are at major programs who need to win now or possibly else. I think Lincoln Riley is one of them at USC. I think Lincoln Riley needs to have a good year, a really good year. I think Brent Venables at Oklahoma needs to win 8 or 9 ball games. I think Hugh Freeze at Auburn needs to win quite a few ball games. There's some bigger name coaches that I think could get the axe this year. Who are some like bigger name coaches that you think? I just named a few.
I think Billy Napier is still one out there. I mean,
Billy Napier's one from Florida.
He had a great end to his last year. But
I'll tell you another one. Florida State. What's his name? I can see the guy's face, but I can't think of his name right now.
I can't think of it.
The Florida State coach.
Norvell.
Mike Norvell.
I think
another one.
He needs to win. I think there's some pressure there.
Yeah.
But you got to think he's got a $64 million buyout, though.
Yeah, but man.
I'm just telling you.
Jimbo Fisher had a $70 million, $80 million buyout too.
I'm just telling you, somebody's going to have to unload some money if they're going to get him.
Yeah. But there's some big-time programs that I think they need to see. I mean, Auburn and Hugh Freeze, I think they need to see a major improvement in season 3. Brent Venables at OU, at Oklahoma. Like, he can't go to 500.
I would have said Ryan Day, but he ended up winning it last year.
Yeah.
But if he hadn't won it last year, I would have definitely said Ryan Day because
Lincoln Riley at USC. I don't know how he stayed, to be honest with you.
I don't even know how he has a team, much less like Caleb Williams was basically their team.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that
kept them afloat.
Yeah. So.
But there's some big-time names and programs that I think needs to win now. I think Nebraska and Matt Rule really needs to see a big improvement with the number one quarterback being a sophomore, having a year under his belt. The guy who thinks he's Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, Dylan
Raiola? Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of like big name, big programs.
Now, I'm going to even go a step further. I know it's Stoops. I mean, Stoops is, I'm not saying it's a big time program, but like
it's not a big program, but
he's
he's
going to have to do something. Get a
I
bowl
agree with you. But I don't think Kentucky's a big time program. But we're not Oklahoma. We're not Auburn. We're not.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm talking.
We're not FSU.
I'm talking just coaches on the hot seat in general.
Yeah, like, we're not USC. That's what I'm saying.
Stoops would be one because, what happened last year cannot happen again this year. I leave it at that. It just cannot happen what happened last year. So,
all right, we are going to switch from college football and go to the NBA draft. The NBA draft is tomorrow night, the first round, and the second round is Thursday night. They have split it this time into 2 days. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet, but it is a 2-day event. The first round is tomorrow night, June 25th, and the second round is the 26th on Thursday. It's a big deal to be drafted, of course. The NBA just finished on Sunday night. Oklahoma City Thunder won Game 7 at home. SGA gets a very special season, being the scoring title, MVP, Finals MVP. I mean, a very special season. There's only 3 other guys that's done that, and that is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan.
He had one of the most incredible runs that I've seen a player have.
Yeah,
this season.
Absolutely. I just got to give a quick shout out to them. But moving on to the draft, John. The first thing I want to talk about is Cooper Flagg, of course. I think everybody pretty much knows Cooper Flagg is going to be the number 1 pick here. Dallas Mavericks have the number 1 pick. But, John, who are your Cooper Flagg comparables? Who would you say he reminds you of, or maybe not even remind you of? Maybe it's, who do you think, what is his ceiling? Where do you see, what type of player do you think Cooper Flagg can be?
Brad, that's a tough question. That's a really good question, Brad, because I really don't know.
Is he Kevin McHale?
I think he's more of a Scottie Pippen type. They got real good high basketball IQ. Leadership, his playmaking skills. Because when Pippen was there, he elevated those around him. With Jordan and then you got Leonard. His size, defensive instincts. Maybe a Kurolenko.
Andre Kurolenko?
Yeah, like. I mean, it just. I hate to put pressure on a kid because that's what we're basically doing here.
I mean,
but I think the kid has a lot to.
He does. I'm going to throw something out here, and this is going to sound crazy, and it probably is going to put a little pressure on the kid. But he's going to the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, I mean, and then
could he be a Dirk Nowitzki?
I don't think he's going to be that good right out of the gate.
No, I'm not saying right. I'm talking about career. When we're looking back 15, 20 years from now, could his max be a Dirk Nowitzki?
It could be.
Do you think he could be that good?
I think it could be. It just the kid has so many intangibles. He's when the pressure gets on, there was a few games where he was just totally exhausted. If you watch some of the games, he was sweating like I've never seen. Like I think they lost a game because he slid on sweat. There was a game that really did happen. I think it was Clemson.
Yes. I'm sorry. You're right. He did. But I had to laugh about it.
But it's a true story. I mean, look it up. It was against Clemson. I think he walked or something because he had too much perspiration on the floor. But seriously though, all joking aside, the kid has a lot to learn, but I think he's learning a lot already because what he did at Duke was pretty special. There were some games where I watched, even the Kentucky game early in the season, I think it was Kansas, like when they needed a bucket, Cooper Flagg went and got it. And he took over the game.
To be honest with you, but Flagg was.
And I know everybody hated to hear his name all the time on the ESPN. Oh, Cooper Flagg this, Cooper Flagg that. But the kid, to me, was not a Duke kid. he went to Duke, but he just didn't seem like your average Dookie. He just seemed like
Duke has had a pretty good run of some good players lately.
they have. J.J. Redick would be one.
Tatum,
Kyrie
Parker,
Irving.
Parker.
They had some really good players and running great players.
They have.
And I think he's going into a situation that is going to help him. Because the nucleus they got around him, the players they got around him, which hopefully they don't trade nobody because there's trades going like wildfire as soon as the NBA Finals is over.
The next question there is, can Cooper Flagg make a healthy Dallas Mavericks a contender this coming year or 2 years from now, over the next couple
I think he can. I think it's going to take him some time, but I think over time he'll be in that.
Well, and AD and Kyrie, they probably don't have a ton of time, but I'm saying like over the next couple of years, can he join Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis and make a big three and make a run and be a contender over the next 2-3 years?
I think they can. I mean, I've seen it at the college level. I mean, to be honest, though, you're comparing college to pros, which is not even close. But, I mean, what he's done up against talent that he's probably going to be going up against in the pros, I think he's ready for the spotlight, bro. And I think it's time for the world to see who Cooper Flagg is.
All right, my next one is Ace Bailey. So rumors are that Ace Bailey is sliding in the draft. Do you know the reasons why?
I really don't know, Brett. I haven't. I haven't really caught up with the whole NBA draft stuff the last couple of weeks. I've kind of focused on college football.
Let me give you a few reasons here. And one of them's going to kind of blow your mind because it did me. But so Ace Bailey is from Rutgers. He was a freshman, averaged about 18 points a game at Rutgers this past year. Him and Dylan Harper were teammates. Dylan Harper is thought to be the second overall pick here. And Ace Bailey, up until about 10 days ago, this whole time has been considered more than likely to be the third pick, who I think is Philadelphia.
It's Philadelphia.
And everybody has thought that Ace Bailey would be the third pick. Up until recently, here's some of the reasons why. The first one, you're going to be like, okay, I understand that one. So Rutgers listed Ace Bailey at 6'10". When he went to the draft combine, they do measurables. Now, he's measured without shoes, but he only measured at 6'7.5". That's 2.5 inches.
I'll be honest with you, Brett. I think there's a few more players that's going to be better than Ace Bailey that probably could be in that spot. But
so here's the one reason that I find absolutely astonishing. We are 1 day away from the draft. The draft is tomorrow. Ace Bailey and his agent has turned down every single team's workout offer. He has been and visited 0 teams. He canceled on the Philadelphia 76ers 2 or 3 days ago, and he has turned down and said no to at least 4 or 5 other teams, and has been to 0 teams, none, 0 for workout.
That's not good. That's not a good assessment before the draft.
Why, John? Why would a kid do that?
Maybe he thinks he's
Why would an agent be like, yeah, that's a good idea?
Maybe he realizes that he's going to be a top pick and don't really have to go anywhere else. Like he's already slotted to where he's going to be. And
Well, all the time, everybody thought he was going to be third. But as of last night, I'm hearing he could slide all the way to 7 and that he may slide even further than that, okay? If he does, if he slides outside of the top 10 because he refused to work out for teams, that's an absolute travesty of a mistake.
Yeah, I agree.
By him, his family, and his agent. If anybody else has his same agent, I would fire them immediately. And I'm not even playing. Immediately. Because whoever this agent is that said, yeah, sure, Ace, go ahead and cancel that visit. That's a great idea. Whoever said that is an idiot.
Yeah.
When you're 3 days away from the draft and Philadelphia wants him to come in for a workout to be the third pick in the draft.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
That's unbelievable to me that would even happen. So, Ace Bailey, good luck tomorrow night. That's all I can tell you. From everything I'm hearing, you're going down the draft board, and I just hope you don't fall too far from some of the dumb decisions you've made, to be quite honest with you. All right. Beyond Ace Bailey, one last question on the draft, and then I have a couple of other things here real quick, and then we're going to close this out. Is there anybody in this draft class, John, that you think will surprise people and have a really good season next year in the NBA? Name me a one or two players that you think nobody's really talking about that will probably have a pretty spectacular year.
I think Dylan Harper would be one.
Well, Harper's probably going to be a second pick.
But I think there's a lot of less hype on Harper than there was when he was coming out.
What about Malawatch?
Malawatch would be one too. And
maybe I just like saying Malawatch.
I think Kobe Bryant would be one. Just because he can shoot.
The only thing about players like him, it's hard to find playing time. It's hard to find
it's
minutes on the floor.
On an NBA team, yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Knipple could be one of them, and
Yeah,
I'll tell you a couple other players. Jeremiah Fears could impact a team.
Yeah, he made a big impact at Oklahoma.
And VJ Edgecombe, look for him to make an impact on an NBA team next year. From Baylor.
Yeah, I think there's quite a bit of guys that could probably could make a surprise. You know, like I was trying to look up. I have my things here. Colin Murray Bulls would be one from South Carolina.
Yeah.
Igor from BYU would be one. I think he's going to be really, really good.
Igor.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in the NFL.
Hope you have a good day.
I don't know why I said you got
Sorry.
me.
If y'all don't know Winnie the Pooh, I'm sorry.
You got me confused there for a minute.
Igor.
Oh goodness.
He talked really slow. Igor. Okay, sorry guys. Sorry. All right, John. One last topic here, real quick. Coach Kenny Brooks got a pretty massive commitment from Savvy Swords this past weekend, over teams like South Carolina, UCLA, some pretty impressive teams. She's a 5-star kid. On3 has her as a top 10 in the top 10 class for 2026 to go with Madden Greenway, who is a top 10, top 11 player as well. 2 5-star kids coming in, and is in the mix with a team like UConn for the best big girl in the class. And the number 3 in the class. Is my question to you is this, John? Is Kenny Brooks building Kentucky women's basketball into a future powerhouse?
I think it's possible.
Do you see like 2026 and beyond, 27, 28? Do you think the path that he has them on, do you think Kentucky could be a future powerhouse in women's college basketball?
I think it's close. I mean, I think it's going to take a couple more years, but I think it's just going to take some time. But I think what he's doing recruiting-wise, I think is –
that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about this year. I'm not talking about this team and this year. I'm talking about in 2 to 3 years from now with the players, the 5-star kids, the McDonald's All-Americans that he is bringing in. Is he building this slowly but surely into what could be a powerhouse in women's college basketball? Because we all know there are powerhouses in women's college basketball.
They are. And I think what he's doing recruiting-wise is something, we haven't probably seen since Matthew Mitchell. And I think
so. This year, he's bringing in Kaylin Carroll, who was a top 15 5-star player. She's a McDonald's All-American. She will be a freshman on this team. Then when she's a sophomore, these 2 girls, these 2 guards, Savvy Swords and Madden Greenway, will be freshmen. When Kaylin is a sophomore, that's 3 5-star McDonald's All-American kids.
Yeah.
That on the floor at the same time. If he gets this big girl from Florida that UConn is also heavily after, that I'm hearing Kenny Brooks in Kentucky is really in play with, I'm telling you, this could be a powerhouse team in the future.
It could be, especially with the recruiting class they got coming in.
It's he's quietly going about this, and I don't think that the national media in the women's college basketball world is really paying attention right now of what Kenny is doing. But it's kind of impressive.
It is.
When you can sign girls, Savvy Swords, her sister was a freshman at Michigan this past year, who was a top 3, top 5 player in the class last year, and was probably one of the top players in the Big Ten outside of USC and Juju and, UCLA, but Sword Sayla, I think's her name. She was fantastic. Averaged about 17 points a game for Michigan.
Yeah.
And Savvy, her sister, is the one who committed to Coach Kenny Brooks in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout here in the future. I'm not talking about this season, but in 2 to 3 seasons from now, this Kentucky team has the potential to be a top 5 program.
It's definitely
has the potential. All right, guys, that is it. We're going to wrap this up in, I think, 3 weeks. 3 weeks from yesterday, actually, is SEC Football Media Days. We will be doing our summer football media days that week. John and I will come.
We won't be back for 3 weeks. So
yeah, it's 3 weeks from yesterday on Monday, I believe. We will come on
our new season.
It will. We will kick off. We'll do our media days week, summer media days week that week, and then we will be off until August, and we will do our preview shows for football, conference preview shows in August, and then kick off August 30th or around August 30th for the season. But we will be doing SEC Football Media Days, the dates and times. It's in Atlanta. That's where SEC Football Media Days is this year. But John and I will be coming on here talking about there's 4 teams each day, Monday through Thursday. Kentucky is the last day on Thursday. I do know that. I do not have the schedule in front of me, but this is where we will be on next. It'll be 3 weeks from last night. We will be coming on and doing SEC Football Media Days. Use our new Bet Us link at bit.ly Real Fresh Bet Us. Use that to get 325%. Your first 3 deposits, you'll get 125% deposit back. So it will give you some extra money to do some bets with. And then, John, I want to wrap things up and just say a huge thanks to Stadium Rant for our season 3. John and I.
And thank you to all of our 2 viewers.
John and I, man, like we started season 3. We were a part of something else. We quickly joined Stadium Rant, and I just want to give a huge shout out to Stadium Rant, to Tyler, to JC,
hey, Brad,
to Wayne.
You know what I meant, right?
To Soar. And give a huge shout out to Stadium Rant. We appreciate you guys. Steven, we've had a fun year. John done a ton of writing. I done quite a bit of writing, covering women's college basketball with Kentucky, going to the SEC tournament, taking Stadium Rant with me, and just having some fun. Look for season 4. We are growing. Eric Bird of Bird's Eye View Photography will be with us and going to some things. We are approved for Kentucky volleyball. They will have one of the better teams in the country. So Eric will be doing a little bit of going to some games, getting some pictures. I'll probably write a few stories on Kentucky volleyball. It probably won't be 6 a week or nothing, but I'll write a few stories on Kentucky volleyball.
I did 6 a week for Kentucky basketball. You proud of me?
Yeah. But we're going to try to get some more guests on in season 4 and have a few more guests on. John and I are this coming season. We're looking for more media opportunities. Florida women's basketball. If you know somebody out there that would like to cover them, I might be able to get you in the door. doing some Florida women's basketball coverage as well. We are trying to grow. Like I said, we're doing Kentucky volleyball. I've got Kentucky women's basketball. Going to try to get in for at least one football game, Kentucky, and at least do that. Maybe a couple of 2 or 3 men's basketball games this year. And we're going. Eric is going to help us do some baseball and softball next year as well for Kentucky. We're trying to grow and just expand and do more and more here at College SportsCast. Stadium Rant is a big part of that. Stadium Rant helped with the logo that you guys see and the intro that I started the show out with. So just want to give a huge shout out.
You know what I meant when I said 2 viewers, right?
Oh, yeah. I know what you meant.
Oh, me.
I mean,
oh, me.
Some people are just not even worth just dumb, just dumbness. So,
goodness.
We appreciate everybody. This has been the Big Fuss Show. This has been season 3.
I want to wish you a happy 4th of July. I won't see you till then, so happy 4th of July, man. And
everybody have a great few weeks here. A great
don't
4th
set no fireworks off and don't make sure Terry has the wheelchair moving.
Yeah.
Move out of the way, Terry. Move, Terry.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you guys enjoy the next few weeks. We will see you for SEC Football Media Days. Each night there'll be 4 teams. We will talk about those 4 teams and what was talked about during the day of those teams, Monday through Thursday. I think it's like July 14th through 17th or something like that.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
But it's 3 weeks from last night, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So y'all have a good one. We will see you guys in a few weeks. And it's been a great season. We appreciate you, appreciate the fans, and we appreciate Stadium Rant and our fans with Stadium Rant, Kentucky women's basketball. Got to give them a shout out. And Kenny Brooks, Cammie Moore Williams, and just a lot of people to thank. So we appreciate you guys. Y'all have a great summer. We will see you in a few weeks.
Have a good one, y'all.
Can I please have your attention?
There's all a commotion around here.
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.